So in this video, I'm just going to be attempting to try and make Ninja Turtle figures based off of the 2014 live action movie. I want them to be in the same scale as the Ninja Turtles, so they're going to be a bit bigger and taller. I'll show you what I got going on so far. So this is kind of what I have all planned out here. It's kind of all over the place, so I'll try my best to explain kind of how I want to go about this. This is going to be probably the main little base on the inside. There's going to be these ball joints at the bottom. The legs are going to be able to connect to. And then I'm going to try my best to make a knee joint by having the top half and the bottom half of the leg be separate parts. And I'm going to try and make it like having this piece stick up, and then on the top half have room for that second half of the leg to move. This is like a side view, so there's gonna be like a little lip covering that joint. Well, I'm gonna try my best to do that. And then at the bottom of the leg here, I'm gonna try and have it be a ball joint, and I'll be using just these little tacks here, and I might even put hot glue on the metal parts so it'll look something like this. So I'll just have that ball, and when I'm done sculpting the foot, I'm gonna just put a little indent for this piece in the foot, and then once everything is cooked, then I'll put it together, because this is an oven bake clay, so I kind of got to work around that a bit. So it will be the same thing with this half and this half. When it's all sculpted, I'll just indent where I want it to be, hook it, and then hot glue where it should be, so hopefully it'll be able to move around and stuff. And then that'll bring us back to the middle part here. I want this to be a waist joint, so I don't know what I'm going to be using yet, but I'm going to want something. I might even just use a little bit of clay on the inside, and I might use something like this. I'm not entirely sure how to go about it yet, but I want this part to be the waist. This part will move from the top half, and I want the front and the back of the figure glued onto this top half only, and then afterwards the back of the shell and the front of the shell are going to be glued onto that after this part's painted. So I'll be able, in theory, when I move just the top half, it'll be a waist swivel, because this will be moving. I'll be moving all this, hopefully. And yeah, another ball joint for like the head, so I can have different heads. And probably the same for the wrists and the hands, I should say. And for all the joints, I'm gonna try to just be using cloth, so all the joints will be able to bend, hopefully, and then I can just wrap some cloth around it. Because the 2014 Turtles had just a bunch of random stuff all over them, so I can try and hide the joints a bit, maybe. But I also have just these the excess from like model kits that my brother just had laying around, so I'm going to be trying to use some of these parts like this. I'm going to be using to put in between the legs, and hopefully like there's like a little pin, and if it works out, I might put a little hot glue on the ends so this won't be falling out. So that's more or less what I got going on. So last night I went to the dollar store to pick up some art supplies, and I was able to get more popsicle sticks because I'm probably going to be using these cut on the ends for Leo's katanas. But I was also able to grab some more of these, and I might just use the wire for the knees and the elbows instead of this very complicated like design of like trying to get these pegs and the stuff in there. And it's probably going to be like a lot harder to do with like the clay that I'm using, so I might just use the bendy wire, like have a decent amount on each end of the leg, so, and keep the little gap, so hopefully they'll be able to bend. And I might even use this for this part here as well, so he could have an ab crunch, probably like a couple pieces, 3 or something. But I think I might actually do this instead. It'll be a lot easier to just have it bend instead of this whole complicated idea. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. And here's the bottom half of his leg so far. It doesn't look like much, but because of the source material, it has, Leonardo just has a bunch of wraps on the bottom of his legs. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to paint this green first, then I'm going to wrap cloth or something around it, and it'll cover up the leg there. So, but there's kind of an idea of what I'm going for. And if this all works, it would turn out really cool if it would plan out the way I'd like it to. So this is where I'm at with everything so far. I've done some stuff off of camera to try and figure out how to go about doing certain things. Here I got one of the thighs, and I'm just using the tacks as ball joints, and I've been cutting these like little wooden sticks here. So there's the thighs here, and then I'm gonna have like the knee, trying to cover up the joint a bit. And then this part, after this is all cooked, this part is gonna go in here and be glued. So just the ball part will be moving around. And what I'm gonna do with this is I'm going to use the wire here and put 3 of them going in here, which are going to connect to the top here, grab the neck, the chest, and then the back here. And I'm going to put the wires going on the top here and then the bottom, so it'll be able to crunch a bit, hopefully. And the front of the shell I got here, which is going to be glued on here after this is painted. And then same with the back shell when I get to that. I have one of the shoulders here, which is just going to be put in like that. And that, oh, on the side here, this, it's just going to be glued here and here. So it's going to be on the front here and on the back of the back shell. This is going to be in the middle. So when you look on the side of the figure, it's not just going to be all like a big gap. It doesn't really look like much right now, but once everything is painted and put together, it's going to look a little bit more. You can see the vision that I'm trying to go for. And here it is just bicep. And I'm going to have wire from here to there. And then wire from here to the forearm. And then probably ball joints for hands. And make different hands. Make the head, or a couple heads, not sure yet. And then the shell for like the main base of it. Then this version of Leo has shoulder pads, so I'm going to be making those. And then like he has a piece of metal going across his fist, so I'm going to need to make those and some other little things, whatever else he has on. But for all the fabric parts, I'm just going to be using actual fabric. And then it's make his weapons, and I think that's more or less it. So just a little update where I'm at so far. And I'll show you me making the other arm and hands and stuff. Alright, so I've already kind of started assembling here. So here is the chest to the bottom piece here, and it's gonna bend like that so it can have an ab crunch. And this is gonna be glued on here. So it's gonna be like that. When it's all put together, hopefully it'll still have all the articulation. And what I was originally going to do is I was going to have these here, but they're way too clunky, and I think once it's all put together, these actually might weigh them down a bit. So I think I might actually just scrap these parts and I might paint saran wrap green, so it'll be the shell here, and I'll show you this part of the shell, like the green part under, that's gonna be like the saran wrap, so it's gonna look like his skin or whatever, I don't know what that part would be on, but his under the shell part would be green here, and bending it, hopefully the saran wrap, it's gonna move around with it and kind of give it that like under the shell like movement, hopefully, if that kind of makes sense. Hopefully it'll make sense once I actually do it and you can see it. Here I have the arm there. He's gonna be pretty huge. I didn't realize how actually big he's gonna be, but they're based off the Michael Bay turtles, so and those are like 4 Hulks, so it's kind of works. There's not much movement here. I kind of actually, that'll work. I take that back. It's good. So I still need to put a ball joint in there and in here and then connect them. So it's gonna be like that. And the legs here. So it's gonna be like that. And the hands I still haven't put on yet, but it's gonna be like that. So that looks pretty cool, seeing it kind of put together like that. And that, yeah, the legs are gonna go in like that. And he's gonna be big for sure, but if it's kind of to scale, it almost might fit in with this size of turtles because they're supposed to be like these huge mutant turtles. They're more mutant, these designs, than I believe these are more like turtle looking. These ones are the more hulking mutant, like, yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying. These designs are more mutated. But yeah, that's where I'm at so far. I just kind of wanted to show you what it's looking like so far. It's going to be like that. And once I get it all put together, I'm gonna spray paint all the limbs green. This is gonna be yellow, and then these are probably gonna be gray, and then I'm gonna go in and add all the cool details and stuff like black dry brushing and like make them look all gritty. And I went out today and I bought a bunch of different fabric, so this is gonna be nice because I'm gonna cut out the wraps and then like paint these, make them look all dirty and gritty, and then I'm gonna wrap them around the legs and the arms, and I'll probably wrap some around the elbows and stuff as well. I also picked up these elastics if I wanted to make them own separate make them their own separate pieces and then just throw them on after, or cut it here, wrap it around, glue it to where I kind of want it. Hopefully it still all work, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at so far, and I hope you're enjoying watching. So here is a bit of a better look at what he's looking like so far. These parts are going to be in like that, obviously, but I put a little bit of super glue on the ball joints, so when it'll hopefully be oof. What I was trying to say is just going to be more friction, because the ball joint, it fits into this hole here and it does move around, but adding super glue is gonna help it a bit more to be able to move it and not have it be loose. Yeah, that's looking like he's definitely gonna be like huge, but like they're based off the Michael Bay turtles, so like I said, it's kind of accurate. But right now I'm just gonna work on the back of the shell, so That's going to be pretty cool to work on. So earlier today, I just went to the dollar store and I was able to find these like weird little case things. I'm not entirely sure what they're used for, but I got them because I cut them into shapes like this, and I'm gonna have them hanging over because Leo has that like bamboo kind of chest plate thing he has in the movie, so that's what I'm gonna be using this for. Okay, so his paint has finished drying, and I've put him together now. So this is what he's looking like so far. It looks very glossy right now, but I'm gonna add different shades of green, and then these need to be glued onto the shoulders here. This is gonna be glued onto the back like that. Oh, that looks so cool. These will be on the front here like that. And this will be going in between here. Probably glued to the back of here and then glued to the front of the shell. So this middle piece will be hidden, but because the front and the back shell will be glued further out, it'll hopefully still have some posability. So far the only thing that's kind of hard to stay on is this arm. It likes to fall out every now and then, so I might have to fix something about that, but so far it's turning out pretty well. The head sculpt. It's kind of hard to pick up right now with it all being green, but it does look a lot better in person. So now I think it's just the fun part where I get to make everything look pretty, so I hope you enjoyed watching so far. So this is what everything's looking like so far. I'm gonna add like dots and like freckles or whatever that the turtles have on the skin. Here's the armor plates and stuff like that. And his shoes. I still need to paint the laces and like the bottom and everything. Over here's the head. Still need to paint the eyes and stuff. There's the swords here. And here is the main base of the turtle. And this is the saran wrap. It's going to be glued to back here. And then this is just going to be glued onto the chest. So that's just kind of what that's looking like at the moment. So right now I'm just in the process of gluing all the wraps and armor and stuff onto the figure, and here is a better look at what it's gonna look like. And when I did this, it made me realize how small the head is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna remake another head and have it be a bit bigger and hopefully make it look a little bit more like the movie, but still has articulation and stuff. So just gonna remake a new head right now. So what I just did now was I had 2 pieces of cardboard and I put them in the length for the swords, and then I painted the cardboard brown, then with just the brown fabric that had some black paint on it, I super glued the end, wrapped it around the cardboard, and then glued at the end. And then that's just how I made the sheath for the sword. Okay, so I finished painting everything up and gluing all the parts together, and he is now fully assembled. So here's what he looks like all put together. I think he looks pretty sick, to be honest. He's obviously not too sturdy, he's just clay and wire and hot glue, so, but here's the front here, and this is probably the more accurate head sculpt of the two, but the original head sculpt was too small for the movie, but I decided to keep it. This also can still come off, but I still think this head sculpt looks pretty sick. Kind of more comic looking. I don't know how that happened, but that's kind of sick. This one just has just the fabric, but with this bandana I put wire on both sides so it's able to bend, which is pretty cool. Just a better look at the head sculpt. Here's the side here. And here's the back, which I think looks pretty cool. So I was originally trying to make this like those 3-0 12-inch Ninja Turtle figures. How it has all like the cloth material and stuff like that. And he's obviously not perfect. His legs could have been a bit longer, and stuff like that, but overall, I think he looks pretty badass for what it is, at least. And here's the NECA Leonardo figure, which I think it's accurate to the Turtles, because Turtles were a bit smaller in the 1990 movie, and obviously the Turtles in the 2014 one were just freaking huge. But yeah, this is him all finished up. Head will move, it's on a ball joint, and then the arms can go up. Grab his sword, which is kind of cool. Bicep, there's a bend and a swivel. Same with the wrist. And the crunch doesn't really work because of how I glued it together, but that's fine, it doesn't really need to. The legs can move, bend a bit, and then this is on a ball joint. And like I said, it's not like everything fits together perfectly. There's probably some touch-ups and everything, and like stuff like that I'm gonna do on this figure, but this is where he's at for the time being, and I think it looks pretty badass. So I'm gonna show you some pictures of the figure, and I hope you enjoyed watching, because this was a pretty big project.